Ganga Education Trust, Degree College of Arts, Commerce and Science. We are very grateful today to have Dr. Mohit Garg, sir, as a resource person for today's interesting session. I welcome you, sir, for the second day of our FDP. Sir is going to talk on artificial intelligence in library landscape. I would like to also welcome and thank Dr. Principal Ma'am Dr. Bhavika Karkera for her constant support and guidance. I would like to also welcome I2SC Coordinator, Assistant Professor Tina Kodian, Library Committee members, Assistant Librarian Shravani Korde. Coming back to the today's session, I will introduce our today's guest speaker, Dr. Mohit Garg. Mohit Garg is working as an assistant librarian at the Central Library, IIT Delhi. He has contributed to reputed journals and conferences with research papers focusing on areas such as ICT application in libraries, open science, open source software, information retrieval, and data science. Sir has received two grants from international organizations. We are very fortunate to have you today on the second day of FDP. Sir, we can start with the session now.
Ritu ma'am, you can have a group photo before that.
Yes, yes.
For
I
group,
would request each and every participant to just switch on their camera so that we can take a group photo.
kindly stop the share. Yeah.
Yes. Requesting everyone to switch on their videos. Thank you so much, everyone. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Ruta, for giving a nice introduction about me. I hope I am audible. And
Yes, sir. Right.
thank you, organizers, the college authority, the funding agencies, for selecting me to discuss on this particular topic. So I'll share my presentation. Just a second, just a second.
Yes.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this particular session, which I'll be taking on integrating AI into the library services. So, what I'll be discussing about on the two aspects of AI. One is related to data, and the second is related to the AI application, which we can integrate it into the library services. So I'll be going throughout very basic, and so that you can also integrate it, so one kind of AI application into the library services. I'll not be going to the much of the theoretical part, and generally, this presentation I gave in around 3 hour lecture where I'll take up the practical also. But because of the limitation of time, I'll just show you a kind of a demonstration if time permits, and we'll see also like if you want to willing to integrate those services in your library platform. Okay. So before that, yeah, so this is my uh, discussion points. I'll be just putting up some of the background, like going up now these days, we have been talking a lot about AI, and it has been become a buzzword, like everything, whatever we can think of any of the technology, we need AI. But I personally disagree with the fact that everything can be replaced by the AI, and human intervention is always required. So I'll be touching upon that part, and after that I'll be discuss about some of the introductory part of AI and what are the different application and tools are available. Then, if we talk about the whole ecosystem of AI application, there are different components are there, and I'll be focused on data, which is very important for building an AI application, where librarians play an important role, because as a librarian, we are the kind of preserving a huge kind of a knowledge, and that kind of thing we can preserve the data accordingly. And after that, I'll be discussed about one particular application of AI, which I could see as of now a immense application in library services, which we can handle, like day-to-day queries, like what is the timing of the library, what are the books are available, which resources are available. So we can streamline all those common questions in building a kind of a chatbot. So I'll be discussing about the chatbot. Then I'll be, relating this chatbot to the reference services, and our father of library and influence science, Dr. S. R. Ranganathan, has always given a immense effort on the part that we need to provide the effective reference services. Then the last part is, the development phase, how you can build a chatbot using Python language, basically Rasa framework. So I'll just not go very deep into the Python and all, because that is, kind of understanding and required. But from this platform, I request you all to that, this is a AI era, means what we all consider as that this is an AI era, technology era. So I request you all that at least go for one programming language, okay? So learning a programming language is like the language what we do it, for our day-to-day purpose. Maybe either we speak Marathi, whether we speak Hindi or English, it's like that. So in future, as a librarian, we need to speak to the machine. We need to talk to the machines, and in that sense, we need to go for any of the programming language. So like there are many programming language are there, but I believe in the perspective of librarians, we believe that the interpreted language like Python and R are quite useful language, so you must go for that language. And finally, I'll show you the some of the further reading for your future research. Okay. So, before going ahead, I would like to acknowledge all the scholars and the website from where I've taken up this content. And this content, I have taken it for the only this academic purpose, and I have duly cited throughout my content. So, if I talk about myself, Ruta has already given a very nice introduction about me. But two of the things which I want to mention it here is that, apart from this, if you want to learn R and R programming language, I have a full 12-week course on SWAM. It's Science, Communication, Research, Productivity, and Data Analytics using open source software. And it's totally free. I just share the link in the chat box, in the chat. You can just join that course, and uh, the registration is free, and only if you want to give the examination. And this is also a approved AICT approved FDP course. So if you complete that course, you'll receive a certificate from AICTE. So, and other than that, if you are, interested to work with me on some of the area which are mentioned on my screen. So at IIT Delhi, we have summer faculty research fellowship. So that's the link which I have given up on my slide. So you can register yourself on that website, and below that you will see some of the faculties of IIT Delhi. Like you will see my name, Dr. Nabi Hassan, who is the librarian at IIT Delhi, your name, and you can select them, and then you can spend some time with us, and we can do collaboratively work on a few of the newer aspect of the technology side. So let's back to our business. So the first idea of it was developed in when it was first digital computer came in 1940, and at that time, once a new things came, we always a very optimistic. At that point of time, we thought of that. Can computer replace human? And we were like, we are so fascinated about computers that it can compute multiple data, it can compute multiple values at that point of time. And for that, in 1950, Alan Turing came up with a test for a kind of a metric for to check the machine intelligence, and that was a major breakthrough in the AI development. And that's why it is sometimes it is said that if a machine pass the Alan Turing test, it can be called as an intelligent machine. So in that line, in 1959, the very first AI program came by Christopher Stretche, basically a checkers playing program, and then the people like Dietrich Tripping, they have been given up this chess playing. After that. In 1958, a neural network was came where the name is the perceptron, where it distinguishes cards on left and right. Okay, so we have seen, these days many of the application on the swipe side on the left and right, and the same it can distinguish whether it's on the left and right. So that kind of a neural network it developed in way back in 1950. Then in 1965, ELIZA came, and first microprocessor came in 1971. Internet came in 1990. WW means basically WWW, World Wide Web. Then LXNet 2012, and these are basically the building point of the AI what we are talking about. Look, these days we require just a small kind of I say maybe this kind of pen drive where we can store almost 64 or to 500 GB of data. Okay, and way back in 1960 and 70, we require a huge, storage point. So that's the, advancement has been done throughout those 1950. Then only we are up to this stage, and we are talking about, the AI which can handle the intelligence like human, and later on, we are uh, trying to build some kind of AI which not only recognize the language but also the images as per the humans. Okay, like say for example, if I say apple, okay, if I say apple, how many of you can think of the apple that is fruit? Okay, might be many of you are able to that image of apple came in your mind, but there is a different apple is also there, like Mac is there. Okay, that is also sometime called is another system for that. Okay, so that's why a machine require that kind of a data, that kind of a understanding, then only it can describe that whether this the apple what I'm talking about is not the fruit. I'm talking about the apple which is a operating system, which is a kind of a system for computing the things. So that's require intelligence, and this intelligence is incomplete without the processing of the data. It's the data is required. Okay, so like the people who haven't seen the Mac laptop, okay, who haven't seen the Apple system. So as soon as we will see say the apple, they will say the apple is a fruit. Okay, likewise we need to provide that data, and that's very important part these days. We are talking about we can build AI application, we can do like this, and this is only possible with the availability of data. So, the very earliest thought of the computer, when it was thought of, it was like computer could not be original. It can't learn from experience. It just can follow the rules. Okay, so rules are, in programming language, in the programming environment, it is like if else. Okay, like say for example, that kind of a scenario what we do in library. Okay, if a faculty came, issue 10 books. If a student came, issue 2 books. Okay, so that kind of it was initial thoughts were on the computer that it can only follow the instruction. It can't assess that, say for example, a faculty came who is now retired. Okay, so this is the learning part. This can only be learned. Okay, while assessing the data. So that was not thought initially. Initially, just it was so meant that okay, we provide the instruction, we give the instruction, do this, it will be done. But the main part of when we are talking about the AI is about learning from the experience thing. And that's what, that's what we are seeing today. If you see, AI is doing different tasks. Like if you see, there is a food delivery robots by Uber Eats, then there has been done then AI-enabled robot doing surgery. Then we have seen the self-driving car by Tesla, and maybe the farm robot developed by University of Cambridge, robot that clean the ocean bed, or maybe robotic dogs. So these are, these are all some of the, and there are many AI applications these days, we have seen, okay, we have been seeing up various kind of AI technologies in our day-to-day life these days. So what is AI? And here I want to, ask you, unmute yourself and please discuss whatever you can think of what exactly AI is. I want to know it from you, what AI you can think of. Okay. So I'll request you that you, or you can just put up in the chat also that what AI is, what you think, what is AI, and then we'll go ahead that what an AI is. Yes, please. Anybody? What AI is, what you could think of what an AI is.
Research assistant.
Sorry,
Research assistant.
research assistant. Okay. So Sarika said research assistant. Any would like to add something other than this? Chatbots. Okay.
Hello.
So
Hello.
AI is the full form is artificial intelligence. Now
Hello.
I want to know what is artificial intelligence. No, I'm not asking about augmented reality. Can perform
Hello.
advanced options, can function. Yes.
It
Yes,
is used
because you
for
would
the
like to add
analysis of.
something.
Yes, sir. Can we bibliography?
Okay.
Uh, we can use AI in bibliography.
Bibliography. Okay, okay, okay. Any would
It,
like to add something what an AI is?
it can be a guider.
It can be a guider, right? It can be.
Hello.
Hello. Yes, yes, Sonia ji. Yes, please.
Sir, as its name indicate, it is an artificial intelligence tool. So, wherever we are lagging behind in any of our routine work, artificial intelligence can supplement that work. For example, if we are lagging behind in writing communication, so ChatGPT is one of the tool with the help of which we can improve our writing capabilities. Right. So, likewise, we can use these AI tools in number of our day-to-day activities.
Okay. So, much of the thoughts I have taken up, like what Dr. Sonia and maybe Sarika has said about AI is, but whatever you have said is related to an AI kind of an application side. Okay, but we need to know that what really an AI is. So, as name says that it's an artificial intelligence, not like a human intelligence. So the word AI states that, and the task or the anything can be done like humans. Okay. So what one very important point Dr. Sonia has raised, artificial intelligence tool can supplement the work where we are lagging. And it's very important to know that where we are lagging in. And that's why it's sometimes, I point out that if we think that it is just a tool where we are lagging it, and then it can supplement us, then it is a real harm for the library services, library kind of, jobs also. So somebody, if some administrator is there, they may think that, oh, we can implement this AI tool, and like the kind of, these days we have so many chatbots are there which can perform lot many things like ordering a food and something like that. And that kind of application, if there, the whole circulation can be done through chatbot. Okay. So what I focused on the point is that AI is a kind of a tool which add on the existing your work, okay, which not only supplement your work, okay, just it provides a additional thoughts on your work. So these days, while we are talking about AI, like the chat GPT is one of the tool which is become so powerful, in, or maybe the popular in the sense that we all are, kind of following the chat GPT, that thing. But how much, kind of content and how much we need to focus on the chat GPT. And other than this, the very important, if you're seen on the, maybe on the, these days it has been popular, is that it's not about how to use the chat GPT, it's about how to put up your prompt. And that's why many people call it as a prompt engineering. Okay. So to do understand about a kind of a, this AI platform, we need to understand the, kind of, the logic, how this AI application has been built up. So if we talk about so if we talk about an AI application, what exactly AI is? So I could think of these four of the things. First is the machine learning. Okay. So whenever you say any of the thing on the, like, let's take an chat GPT, because we all are familiar with the chat GPT. Okay. If we say anything like give us a essay on something like institution, maybe like Constitution of India in Hindi. Okay, so machine need to understand that machine what exactly Hindi language is. And as we all know that machine, what we talk about, computer can only understand 0 1 0 1 0 1, the sequence of 0 1. And that's where we need to, translate the language. So that's why machine learning is a sub part of an AI application, where machine learn that, okay, that's a input from the user, and I have to report in that kind of a format. So under machine learning, there are two kind of machine learning are there. One is supervised learning, and another is unsupervised learning. In supervised learning, the machine is providing up the data, okay, and based on that, like, there's some labels are provided. Okay, these, if this data is there, it should be that label are there. Okay. In unsupervised learning, it is based on the machine. Machine do the analysis of that intelligence based on the some kind of a probability. Okay, so if this content is there, so one of the unsupervised learning technique is topic modeling, where a given text is there. Now machine decide that based on finding out some of the corpus from that text, and they find out that this is a particular related to this topic, this is related to this topic. So that kind of a thing is there. But in broader sense, in machine learning, we just provide a sample data to train the program, and after that, whatever the, in that trained data is there, and there are some patterns are there, and the algorithms are applied on that trained data, and then machine understand that, okay, these are the things. Okay, like take the example of apple only. Okay, so machine are trained that these are the apple. If an apple comes, it's just a fruit. Okay. So if we train the machine on that particular part, if any of the text come that apple, give us an apple kind of thing, uh, it will be somebody's something writing. Okay. Yeah. So that's the important part, that what the apple is. So that is the machine learning is required. Then the second important thing about artificial intelligence is neural networks. And when we talk about neural network, it is a computer system designed to imitate the neurons in a brain, so like what we have in our brain. Then third is the natural language processing, the ability to understand speech as well as to understand and exactly the document, whatever the document is. So that's the third important thing about artificial intelligence. And the fourth is the robotics. Okay. So machine that can assist people without actual human involvement. Okay. Like ChatGPT. Okay. Once that ChatGPT machine is, established, how many of you have used ChatGPT when once it was launched? Okay. At that time, if you search any of the thing on ChatGPT, it will always say that sorry, my knowledge base is of, up to this particular month of 2021, later on to this part. Okay, so there are some limitations are there, but other than that, if you take up any other thing, there was no active human involvement is required. So, if we see this whole kind of, the kind of AI these days, whatever we are talking about, it's not the AI which was 10 years ago. It was nowadays we are talking about the generative AI, which is based on the huge amount of data set. Okay. So, and that data set is very important. And how that data set is modeled using different technique and different methods, it's again very important thing. And that's why if you see in generative AI, sometimes we need not, in general traditional kind of a setup of like if you need to build a chat. Okay, so there you can either go for either of the learning, but in generative AI sometimes you need to use mix of both supervised and unsupervised learning. Okay. So one of the particular example of AI, whenever I talk about AI, what I gave is on Gmail. Okay, so Gmail, the Gmail is doing this. I don't know how
Uh,
like is our Zoom is hacked or something like that. I don't know. Some people is writing.
no, no, sir. Yes, I'm just looking into it.
Ruta ma'am, excuse me, Ruta ma'am, kindly
Yes,
contact
ma'am.
sir.
Sorry, ma'am.
You contact Ram sir and just let him know ki some
Yes, yes, yeah, that
how
is
to
only I'm doing.
control this. Yeah, yeah.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so one of the best example of an AI application is what I believe, and we have seen like maybe around a decade ago. Okay, when Gmail automatically categorize that this email is a promotional, this email is on update, this email is on related to social thing, and we have seen that. But at that time, we just ignored that kind of thing because we could not think of any real AI application, and at that particular time it was just a simple application is there that provide that kind of a service. Okay, so could be possible because of kind of a machine learning application. And these days it has been used heavily, not only for providing the service, but you see many of the video recommendation on YouTube, Facebook feed, and Netflix, all these because of the recommend based on the data. Okay, and that only it may, sometimes you will feel that some of the important mail, like you're talking to first time to a maybe a different email ID, and it will automatically take you to the spam. Okay, so that's why the importance of the data, importance of the quality of data is important, on which the machine is trained. If the machine is trained on some kind of incorrect data or something like it, there is some discrepancy in data is there, then it will not be that much effective AI application can be done. So if we talk about, if we need to go about developing an AI system I'm not talking about the only the library services, AI system of any kind of AI system, there are three important things are required. One is we need as a software part, so it can be an AI algorithm, whatever we can think of. Then also we require hardware also, because sometimes we think that AI application can do anything. So AI application is dependent on the hardware, and that kind of machine configuration is required. Like say for example, if you are building an AI application, maybe using Python, and you are using way old, like maybe 2 GB RAM or something like that, or a very less space of hard disk, it will be too hard to process that. Because what we talk about AI application based on large processing of the data, then only it can, if you see our brain, okay, it look like very small, but it can process a huge amount of data. We remember the telephone number also, we remember the email ID also, we remember various other things, okay. So if we need to develop, so we need to have a strong hardware system. And the third important thing is the data, the training data, which is we need to train, based on which like this system will be developed. So we all know, we as a librarian, we have studied a lot about, this particular pyramid, that data, information, knowledge, wisdom is there. But this has been a always, key factor for developing any of the AI application. AI or the data related application, whatever the information system we are talking about, it based on a data, and we need to have that data. But this data is of various kind of type, and we need to understand the different types of data. It can be of text format, it can be of shape file, it can be of image file, it can be of latitude longitude kind of a data, it can be of a huge amount of CSV files, or maybe the number of rows are there, and maybe the neural network. So that kind of data can be of any different formats are there. So when we need to develop an AI application, we need to know different kinds of data. And when we talk about data, let's take this particular example. I have taken up, the example from ChatGPT itself. That if you see, put it, the example like the Paris Olympic 2024 medal tally, and the chat gpt, the knowledge base of chat gpt, it automatically process the data from different sources. Like if you see here that if you see here, it has mentioned that it has search on two sites. So this means that there are two sites are available where this data was available, and this particular AI system has processed the data from those particular two sites, and immediately after processing that data, they have described the results. Similarly, if you see here on this part, if you see this, it has searched on three important sites, and these sites are from these links. So that's, that it shows that is now it's not about, trained kind of a knowledge base is there. Once a knowledge base is developed, it will give the result. Now the results are based on the data availability, from where data is available, and at that point of time, it can fetch up the data from different sources, process that data through their different algorithm and the kind of hardware they have, and immediately provide you these kind of results. If you if we see this particular an example, I just show you that I just ask an chat GPT that I need to buy a MacBook thing, which are on the cheaper rates, and they provided all of these results. And as soon as I was more specific, then it went for the location kind of a thing. So try to understand that earlier they just extracted the data from the cheaper rate of pack. But with additional, I have provided that I am at IIT Delhi. Then they are doing the location-wise data analysis, processing of that data, and they have provided that these are the nearest uh, store where I can get the Mac. So that's why the availability of data is very important for building an AI application. But this data is not fair. This data is not of good quality. And when we talk about the quality of data is sometimes, we may have done up various studies, and we might see the missing values. Okay. But if we need to process the web data, and we need to process the data from different platform. It may be of a different versions are there, different formats are there. Sometimes let's take an example, like if we have a PDF, so those PDFs are neither OCR are there, none, it just providing the text are there. Okay, so these data has some limitation. Okay, and we need to make up the data, so we need to process the data to a kind of that level so that it will be quality for the building an AI application. So you might have, like, this is an kind of, I think, 10-year-old concept. It has been discussed a lot in our academia, that we are on the situation of big data, and we will be remain on big data. And these are, sometimes some people say that is 3V, some say that 4V. But I believe that it's, kind of 4V of that big data is there, that we have a huge volume of scale of data. It's not just a 2 GB or 3 GB. We have been and that data is continuously going on. And this volume is of from different various platform and different various kind of format. Let's take an example. If we are sharing a data on Facebook, we are just not putting up the text message, but we are putting up the images also. We are putting up the latitude, longitude, location also. So that kind of volume of data is going on, and the different streams are there. And this is a kind of 1 year old, this graph is there, but data is growing in that speed. And the speed, if like we have the live tweets are going on, that stream of data is very high. And we have the different formats of data, and we have, like, sometimes we have the veracity of that data is there. So what one thing we can do, and where we need to engage the thing, is on the fact that the part of fairing of the data. Okay, so we need to fair up this data so that it will be easily build an AI application where it can provide you the results in the lesser time. Let's take, and what exactly fair is. Fair stands for, F stands for findable, A stands for accessible, I stands for interoperable, R stands for reusable. And this is very important. And the very first component of fairing up is findable. We need to make up the data findable. Let's take an example like the previous example, what I've discussed here. If these three sites, whatever it search, it was not on the internet. Okay, so generally we have two component, intranet and internet. Intranet is within the network, okay, and internet is on the global network. If there was no such site was there on related to this particular text, where we have the data is in the findable form, will it be able to get this query? So that's why findable is very important, that it should be that particular source where the data is, that could be findable. And how to find, that depends on the algorithm. Okay, like how Google will be crawling that thing, how this chat GPT, and it depends on that thing. Then the second component is accessible thing. Like, say for example, the many of the things what we see, as a librarian, we have seen, abstract of the content is there, and then we put up the read of the content, and they say that you need to subscribe the content. Okay, so there are these three sites are there for this case. These are the three sites are there, but they are not accessible for you. They are not accessible for whatever way you are searching on. So the accessibility is very important. Then the third is the interoperability form. Like the way this machine has developed, and the text or whatever the data is there on your particular website, it is not able to interoperable on different machine. And the fourth important component is reusability. Like, say for example, I put up every information, every data on our website, everything is there, but I say that you can't use my data. You can't build an application on that. And that's why reusability is becoming an important factor of having a data. Now, if you need to make up a fair up data, you need to have these things. So the very first thing, if we need to make a data findable, we need to have a kind of a persistent identifier assigned to our data set. So one of the persistent identifier we could think of is DOI. So DOI can be assigned to data, and there is one organization like DataSite is there, which can provide you the DOI to the data. Then the rich metadata. Okay, we have to, because if we need to findable, our metadata should be rich. And when I say about rich, it should not only that the details are there, but no information is not given for that particular metadata. So for that particular metadata, the complete details is to be given. Then there are like different repositories are there, different data repositories are there where this can be, your data can be indexed. So it will be good if it is indexed in the different data repositories. Then if we need to make it accessible, we need to see first the authentication. Like if we need to see like this is a confidential thing, and or we may need to provide kind of, some kind of regulations are there, then only you can access that thing. So you can put up the authentication. Then what kind of, there are different standard communication protocols are there, which kind of protocols you are using for that. Then the third important component is interoperable thing. So if you need to enhance the data, if you need to make the interoperability of the thing, then what you can do is like you use the vocabulary which are fair and which are standard vocabularies are there, and in that linked metadata are mostly common things are there. And if we need to enhance the reusability of the data, we need to have some kind of usage license. Don't use such kind of a license like we provide the data and you can't use it, you can just see it. So seeing up those 10,000 rows doesn't have any meaning. Okay. So that's why we need to have that kind of a license for us. So till now, what I have discussed is, the basic part of AI, and the more stress I want to give it is on, like, whenever build an good AI applications, whatever AI thing we are going for. Now, the second component of this particular session where I will be focused on is on the application of AI, what we can think of in our libraries. There are many, and I'll be discussing on the chatbot part. So there are many application of AI in libraries are there, which has been discussed by the researchers in their papers, like the research discovery, like, or maybe the providing the reference services like OCR, maybe NLP for translation of the language content, maybe speech recognition, or the intelligent and interactive gateways. So what I could think of, that one of the important an AI application which could be integrated with the library services in the reference services, because in reference services we need to provide the effective service to the user each time. Okay, like it's not we don't know when user come. The user may have the query maybe at the 12 p.m. So that these kind of a query can be solved with the help of integrating an AI application. So to go it about like to integrate an AI application into reference, let's first see what exactly a reference service is. And as per Ranganathan, reference service is very important because it establishes the right contact between reader and book by the personal services, and it connect the people with the right kind of information. So we have a big library, we have a big system, we need to go for this particular thing, for this particular section, this particular like plagiarism for this, grammarly for this, for the report for news, like that thing is there. So at one single platform we can have a person who have the all kind of knowledge and they can, like, if you are faculty, you go to this. If you have a research scholar, you go to that thing. You will find out this thing. So that in that sense, we can integrate, reference. We can integrate an AI application into the reference services. And these days, we have been integrating technology into the reference services on many instances, like an email. Earlier, we used to give, like, you just if you have any queries related to that you can have email, or maybe the uh, charge, ask the librarian services, maybe a real-time chatbot, or real-time Facebook Messenger or something like that is there. But if we talk about an AI application, then there are multiple applications have been developed to provide an effective reference services. So in order to do that, there are some of the AI tools are there which can be integrated with the mainly the reference services. Is chatbot, which is a kind of a computer program that provide you the effective answer related to your queries. So before that, going about the chatbot part, I went on through some of the literature, and just to see that what exactly the challenges are there for implementing the AI in the library services. So the very first thing is that budgetary issue, financial challenge are there. Many of we have the challenge of the budget and the financial constraint in our libraries. Then also we have, many of the colleges or maybe of the institution, we have very less number of staffs, maybe two or three, where we need to focus on all of the tasks of the libraries, and we have some of the lack of technical staff also. Also, there are, like, one of the important thing what I have seen in the literature is that many of us, we just have some resistance to change. So that's why it is like one of the challenging of implementation of AI in libraries. Then we have, like, inadequate ICT infrastructure is another point which I would like to raise, because before joining IIT Delhi, I was at Central Institute at Amarkantak, where we lack some of the ICT infrastructure. We don't have sometimes proper good quality of good speed of internet connectivity. So that kind of ICT infrastructure is one of the factor which is lacking up for and which is creating one of the main constraint for implementation of AI in the library services. So let's come to the main component of an application, but we can integrate it into our library services is chatbot. So a chatbot is an AI powered software application that simulate human-like conversation. Okay, it's like it act like it's an human. Okay, and also user think that the respondent is knowing much about them, and that's why they are responding. Or maybe respondent is like think that the person who is responding the query is very well versed about the all of the library, all of the system. So that's the kind of a chatbot is there. So it can respond maybe in the text or voice, and basically it is used for customer support and the personal assistant. And, like, some of you have mentioned that a kind of a research assistant. So that's why a chatbot is that thing. So if we talk about chatbot, there are two kind of chatbots are there. One is rule-based that operate on predefined script. Rule-based means, like, if I ask them, I need to have a guidance on plagiarism, so they will guide us to go for that part. But at the same time, if I ask them, like, I need to have a certificate for submission of my thesis. Okay, so that's the learning. The system should know that what all certificate a user can require for submission of the thesis. So here intelligence comes, and that's where AI-based thing is there. These days, many of the people have integrated chatbot which are just a rule-based. Rule-based means just a thing is there, like plagiarism certificate. Okay, go for this, submit to that link is there. But if any other thing, like we need to have, like, we need to I need to submit a certificate annexer 2 for submission of my PhD. Now the system should know that whether annexer 2 is the plagiarism report or maybe the other any kind of document is there, maybe the nodules is there. Okay. And then the second chatbot type is AI based, is using based on machine learning for like getting up the natural and the dynamic responses. So if we categorize these two kind of a chatbot in a kind of, what is rule based and what is AI based. So in rule based, we define all of the condition. Okay, like if 10 comes, like if faculty comes, he has to respond this thing. If a research scholar come, here we need to respond this. If a student, PG student came, we need to respond this. Okay. But in AI based thing, we just give up the only few of the script. Okay. We don't plan all of the conversation because we don't know that an user can come up maybe like, on whatever the different queries. Like say, for example, like this is when we were doing up building up the chatbot, we could think of, if the book is not available in our library, what is the nearest library where I have the access of book. For this, an AI system should know that what all the first nearest library to this particular institution, and also in what library this book is available. And if this book is available, whether that library is allowing the interlibrary loan of that particular thing, whether they are allowing the issue of that book. Okay. Or if they are allowing issue to that book, is there any constraint as there, or are there any MOU or something like is there? So that kind of huge knowledge is required, and that's where we say that we require AI-based chatbot, not a rule-based chatbot. Then rule-based chatbot always rely on kind of a specific keywords. Okay, let's I gave the example of plagiarism. Okay, so it is trained on like plagiarism. So as soon as plagiarism is triggered, it will respond with that query. But AI based is generally based on the natural language. Okay, just the natural language. Anything is related there, and they can interpret the meaning, and then they can respond. That thing is there. Then the third important component is that rule with which is kind of a bigger constraint to rule based chatbot is that they cannot learn. They can just respond and only with the preset rules. But with the AI base, it can learn and improve over time with the help of interaction and training of the data. Like, think of a children, okay, how it grows over the time. And or maybe we are also committing so many mistakes. And once we have committed that, and after that, we can learn that thing is there. Okay. They are, rule based are basically are important for, the kind of a where we have already the frequently asked question, and that specific answer to that is there. Okay, maybe the menu selection, that kind of thing. AI based are generally, they are generally related to customer support, where we have more of the complex queries, or maybe the, we have a big database, and in that it is, that thing is there. So, if we talk about a chatbot in library has a lot many applications, and it can automate the reference services in the libraries for various reasons. Uh, so one of the important reason is that, like, in libraries we have been asked by the repetitive queries. Like say for example, if something like how many books I can issue. Okay, if PG students come, each time it can ask how many times it can be issued, how many times this kind of textbook can be issued to me, what can be the duration period. Okay, so these are some of the repeated question, and that's why for responding to the repeated question and again, instead of that, we can have that kind of application which can respond to the query. If you ask 1,000 times, it can respond that thing. Okay. Then the second is it can be worked round the clock, whether it's 12 p.m., whether it's like 1 a.m. or 4 a.m. or maybe the 10 p.m. It can be, the chatbot can respond effectively each of the time. Then third is like, like if you are the librarian, you are the only person in your library. If 50 people, 50 user came all of a sudden, or maybe the 20 user came, it will be total chaos will be there. It won't be that much useful for, that much efficient, or you won't able to give the reference service to your user. But if you have integrated chatbot application, it will be quite easy for handling maybe 50 at a time. Okay, each 50 of you, those people will work or will talk to the chatbot from their different machine, and it will respond in the same way. Okay. Then the next thing is that it is like it can be used from either mobile, it can be used from tablet, or it can be used from desktop or laptop. Okay, any kind of a machine you have, it can be used. Then this is very important. Okay, so each time, like say for example, let's you do it like in your exercise. I'll ask Ruta, what's your name? She will say Ruta. Ask, what is your name, Ruta? I'll ask again, what is your name? If I ask 5 times, of course Ruta will be that kind of, irritated. Array, you can't hear that. I have said you Ruta is my name. But that kind of chatbot will always be kind. Like if you ask 1,000 times that what's your name, that book is. The next is like if you integrated chatbot in the libraries, it can be integrated with n numbers of platforms, like whether you want to integrate with Facebook, whether you integrate with WhatsApp, whether you want to integrate with your website. So it can be integrated with that. So that's why chatbot can be implemented in automating the reference service in the libraries. So the chatbot of history is also, quite long. It's not like it has been like maybe 2 year or 3 year old concept. So the first chatbot, Eliza, was developed in 1966. Thereafter, in 1972, a Perry chatbot came. In 1988, Jabberwocky, Smarter Child, and these days we have been, Siri or maybe IBM Watson is there. Then Google Assistant is there in 2016, and then Emma with the MPL chatbot, and there are Kingbot with another universities. There are different chatbots are there, and also at IIT Delhi we have a chatbot named as BibDial Plus, which was developed in later on 2023 and 2024. So some of the, these are some of the numbers related to, e-commerce thing, but people are able to engage, people like to engage with the chatbots thing. So like if you see the Facebook data, like 88% of MSs to business for making purchase or reservation from that thing. Then if we talk about the top 5 most chatbot using countries are USA, India, Germany, UK, and Brazil. Then also like 60% of millennials have reported using chatbot, out of which 70% have a positive experience. So, and 90% of executive global companies chatbot help in high speed resolution of queries thing. So that's why, people are trying to integrate the chatbot in the libraries, which can provide you a kind of a support system for your library for effective need of for satisfying the effective need of the user. So that's why I search on the Google also. The Google Trend is one of the platform which show you the penetration of the keywords on the internet, and the word chatbot is quite popular among the searching on the internet, and it has been exponentially, the interest has been exponentially grown in the year like 2020 or 2021. So what exactly the requirements are there for building the chatbot? So one of the key requirement for the building of the chatbot is the ICT infrastructure. We need some server, we need internet and storage. We need at least one language like Python, Java, or maybe R. I recommend Python for this particular case because Python has more powerful packages. Then some of the skill to manages the servers, like then we need to have like cloud platform like AWS, Azure, Google Cloud Platform, or like at IIT Delhi we have Badal. Then it's up to the kind of framework you are using, whether you are what kind of language you want to integrate, whether English, Hindi, Punjabi, Marathi, or that thing. Then NLP skill, handling with the working out with the some of the libraries like NLTK, Core NLP, or Stanford NLP. Machine learning skill, different, there are different techniques are there. Some data set also you require, some UI skill to design the UI interface, some API skill for fetching up the data from the different data sources, and of course the GitHub or maybe the Stack Overflow to get the support from the community. These are some of the skills are required for building up the chatbot. But the problem is that we don't have that skill. Okay, we may not, and I'm not saying that it's your kind of, if you don't have that kind of skill, it's maybe of any of the reasons, but we can acquire that thing. And when we have to build up the chatbot, we have to integrate the AI application. Uh, we may not want to go for each of the the chatbot. If you want to build a rule based chatbot related to FAQ, you need to have some kind of understanding of computer and Python. Okay, it will be quite easy for that. But if you want to have stronger chatbot for your system, you need to have these many skills, and these skills can be acquired. Okay, if I talk about I may be having a kind of experience of using R from around 7 to 8 years. But recently, maybe around 1 year, I think I started in 2023 only to start learning a Python. Okay, so it's quite. I'll not say it's easy. Generally, I say that those who are willing to do, for them every task is easy. Okay, so just have a try with learning a language. You can able to build a wonderful chatbot for your library services, which can be and innovative, which can be effective for your library services. So this is a system, a kind of a chatbot system where users come up with the questions. That's a system is there, and we have a kind of a Rasa. Rasa is a Python-based framework where it processes the thing, and then the backend we have the kind of system which process the queries, like what exactly there has been said by the user, and then it connect with the knowledge base, and based on that knowledge, it provide you the right answer. Okay, so that's the kind of a workflow of a chatbot is there. So while building a chatbot, the very first thing is and very important thing is intent. Okay, intent is an intent is set of different questions a user can ask. Okay, like we can have a intent like timing of the library. So user can come up like question like when library will open, when library will close, or maybe when I can come to the library to issue a book, or at this is no, maybe this kind of a question like can I come now to the library for issue of a book? So that's the intent, and your machine, your system should know that whenever, as soon as user has the user said that can I come to the library to issue a book, the system know that whether it's 6 p.m., 8 p.m., whether library will open or not. Like if somebody will come and say me that Mohit, I want to meet you at this moment, and I respond, no, I am at this particular lecture 4 to 5:30. But the same thing that system also should know and that we can develop. So this is intent, and intent is the basic building block of building the chatbot. Like if you see here on the right hand side, these many intents of the we have think of for the related to library. Like say for example, one intent we can have related to opaque, where user can come related to the queries related to opaque, like how to use the opaque, how to submit a hold if you, or how to recommend a book or something like that. Then membership, like or maybe the borrowing privileges, like what are the this is a spelling mistake, okay? So like privileges of like how many books I can issue, how many book I can return, or how many books I can have at a time, that kind of thing. Then how to renewal the books, then different rules and regulation, how I can access the resources when I am at out of the campus. Okay, so these are the all of the tasks what you can think of related to your library. These all are the intents. Okay, and whenever you need to build a chatbot, the technical part is one, that is maybe the 20% component, but the major building component of 80% of a chatbot is understanding of intents. We need to develop the intents. So there are, four type of intents are there. One is the default welcome intent. So what is default welcome intent? So you build a chatbot. As soon as you said hi, so it will say greeting, namaste, welcome to the libraries, or welcome to the central library, whatever it is. Okay. So that's a welcome intent. So it's up to you how you will design that thing, how you will respond it. Then the second intent is fallback intent. Like your chatbot is related to maybe the library services, and somebody comes that I want to book a flight ticket, how I will do? Because my chatbot is not trained on that, it will automatically it should pop up that with very kindness, sorry, I couldn't answer your query, please respond, please say it again, or please uh, go to the direct thing. Or maybe we can have, like, if continuously that kind of fallback is going on, we'll say that contact to the librarian for the few more queries. Then the third intent is user specific intent. User specific intent is like what I've discussed about the library timing, maybe the chemist book issue, maybe the print book, maybe the e-resources, maybe the plagiarism. All these are the specific intent. One specific task is there, okay? Then the fourth is the follow-up intent, and follow-up intent is the very important part of any chatbot application whenever you are building upon, because it set the tone of the your knowledge base. Like say for example, I come up to your chatbot and I say that how many books I can issue up. So to answer that how many book I can issue up, you need to know that who I am, what is my privilege are there, whether I am student, whether I am. So the chatbot should respond. May I know your designation? May I know your enrollment number? May I know your, which course you are enrolled with, or which course you are teaching up? Okay. Or maybe take another example of follow-up intent is like, sometimes in libraries we have two types of timing. One, the timing during the exams, and one timing is from like out of the exam. Like in during exam, we sometimes open the library 24 hours, and other than exams, we have some regular timing. So as soon as somebody asks, then what is the timing of the library? Okay, so the as soon as user asks that what is the timing of the library, the our chatbot should respond that. Okay, at what time you are seeking the library timing, whether you are seeking exam time or during non-exam time. So if they say that exam time, it will say immediately, it will respond that during exam time, the library timing is 24 hours. So that's the follow-up intent, means the user query is incomplete and they need to take one more extra thing to answer the query. Okay, so you need to understand these four intent when you are building a chatbot application. So these are some of the example of building up the uh, like when you are creating a chatbot, and these are some of the intents are there. And other than this, one of the key intent these days are very common. I've seen in the chatbot thing is like small talk intent. Sometimes user interested to know who are you, who have developed you, what kind of a knowledge base you have. Okay, so these are the small talk, and you can do it, under setting up the small talk thing. But major thing, you need to focus on the user specific intent, the resources you want to have, resources you have in your library, the kind of support you give, and to whom to contact if a user face that kind of thing. And the greeting intent is that only what I discussed about the welcome intent. So this is a kind of a flow diagram. So whenever you have to develop a chatbot, you need to go to the, you need to design this flow diagram accordingly to the intent. So this is just on to show on the paper thing, but you can do it thing on your notepad, and then you can design, okay, this will be the welcome intent. Okay. So like say, for example, the welcome intent, if you see here, it is just show that, the user send a message that greetings, hello, and the chatbot respond with greeting, how are you? And if you see here, because this chatbot was mainly intended for kind of central institute of Himachal Pradesh, and if for that case, if somebody asked where is Ashoka University, it could not answer. It could not answer because it could not understand it, that where is Ashoka University. Okay, so sorry, can you repeat again? And if it again it asks that where is Ashoka University, so the best answer is that sorry, I couldn't understand. You may contact to the librarian for the further queries. Then user specific intent, if somebody want to know about a specific query, so here we have one specific intent, like who is the librarian? So librarian is Dr. Vikram Sharma. And follow-up intent is like the library timing. So Central Institute of Himachal Pradesh, I took an example when I discussed about chatbot, because this university has 3 campuses at 3 locations. So it's very important for the chatbot to understand the user is asking for the library timing for which campus. So as of now, whenever a user put up the thing library timing, so it should respond, do you want to know the timing of tab 1 Shapur campus? If somebody say yes, then it will be like that. If no, it will again say that whether you are talking about Dharamshala campus or Dehra campus. Okay, so that's the conversation flow diagram which you need to plan it down. And these are some of the intents are there. So like if we need to train up the intent, like these are the some of the phrases are there. And then this will be the response of each intent, and this can be multiple response you can train it, so that each time like you can say the same thing in multiple way. So that's why it is suggested that whenever you design the response, you should have multiple way of saying same thing, so that every time maybe the same user comes in, and if we get the same answer, it will be look like that it's kind of a machine thing. So there should be variety of the responses should be there in your responses. Then the final task is enabling the small talk in the chatbot, and then you can integrate it with the different platforms. So I'll quickly discuss. I think I have just 10 more minutes, so I'll discuss quickly about the development of chatbot using Rasa. So Rasa is a open source framework for building the chatbot application. It's based on related to Python. It has 2 key components. It handles natural language understanding, and it has a Rasa core which manages the conversation flow and responses. The first benefit is it's open source and it's free to use. And as it's open source and free to kind of support to integrate it with a different thing, you can compare it's you can integrate with WhatsApp, Slack, or Facebook, or to your website thing is there. Then is Rasa, you say that is Rasa is the only option? No, I'll not say that because Rasa is the only option. There are multiple other options are there. One is Dialogflow. It's based on Gmail. You can use that. Then there is Microsoft Bot Framework is there. You can use that also. Then BotPress is there. You can use that also. But again, why we use Rasa? Rasa is a Python based, and you can code it with your thing, and you can develop the chatbot. So these are many reasons are there for, whenever we select the thing, there are multiple reasons are there. For me, only one reason is okay to use Rasa because it's open source and it's free, and we can customize according to our need. So there are many chatbots are there which have been developed using Rasa. One of the example is Swiss Railway, and I see there are many different features are associated with because this is the chatbot which I took it as kind of a motivation for developing a chatbot using Rasa. So this is again a bank chatbot, and there are like many other different sites are there which is using Rasa for building up the chatbot. So Rasa is like each of the framework, whatever the open source framework we have, it is developed in some kind of a programming language, like Koha in Perl language is there. So likewise, Rasa is in the Python framework, and sorry, Rasa framework is written in Python language. Python is a kind of a language which is high level and interpreted language. Okay, so there are two kinds of language are there in programming. One is compile based, and one another is interpreted based. Interpreted ways are quite easy to use. It's line by line. You just write hello world. It will be easy to implement that thing. So installing that thing is quite easy. You have to go to python.org. By default, if you go to your terminal, if you will write Python version, you will see that Python was not found. But if you go to python.org, install this version 3.9.3, it's a stable one. Generally, whenever we go with open source thing, we go with the stable version of thing and install it. So installing a Python in Windows is quite easy. The way, these days, I believe that majority of you have done like this only, that you downloaded the file, exe file, next. Okay, we need to fill it in like 2 minutes because we never read the terms and condition. But the beauty of open source is that, and I recommend that read the terms and condition, whatever things are there, where the folder is created, where that thing is there. So you do next. This will be created, and after that you need to create an environment, and the environment. I'll share the whole step with you with all the participant, a guide of form. My team member is doing that kind of thing, so that it will be useful for the librarians to build a chatbot in your libraries. Then that's the way. And then pip is the second, like package which helps in installing the Rasa. Uh, then that's some of the basics of Python. So how you can install and you can do basic computation, basic language things are there. So there are, these are some of the things are there, and Python, it's quite hard to, teach in 3 hour or 4 hour course. So there are many tutorials are there in YouTube. I recommend that must. And these days, in AI things, there are multiple tools are there, and we are talking about AI, but here I want to stress it out again is that I request all the librarians and the professional that must go with any of the programming language, Python or R, which is very important in this age, because we need to talk to the machine in future. We need to develop such kind of applications that things are there. So that's the thing. Quite easy. It's very easy to build the basic chatbot. To build a basic chatbot, there are few steps are there. That's the chatbot you can develop in maybe, I think, 15 to 20 minutes. But to integrate with the web interface, the real kind of chatbot, what we think of like this one, it will take around 1 or 2 days if you are okay with the Python language, and you can do it easily. Okay. So thank you everyone. If you have any question, we can discuss it down. And I recommend these 5 books, very useful for the, to understanding the whole ecosystem of, just a second. Yeah. if you want to take the screenshot or something like that. These are the very important thing. If you don't need to know more about the AI thing, and if you need to build up an AI-based application in the libraries. Over to you, Ruta.
Thank you so much, sir, for your detailed explanation about the history of AI, tools and techniques under the AI, and how we can use these technologies to improve our services. Now the session is open for question and answers. If anyone wants to ask anything to sir.
If any questions are there, we can surely discuss. I think I
Yes.
ended up 9 minutes early, so I think
Yes, we have said 10 minutes, 10 more
we
minutes.
can have discussions. Any observation you want to
If
raise?
anyone is having any questions regarding the presentation, sir just shared with us. Participants, any questions?
Sir, ये difference softwares is a statistical software, right? That is a Python and R. Then
No, these are not statistical software. These are the language, programming language. However, these are used as, sometimes for statistical purpose. But, the Google is also done in Python. So these are the language.
okay, because I am the mathematics of professor. That's why I'm using that R in for the calculation of matrix.
Yeah,
That's why.
R is used as for statistical analysis. Python is also used as for data science in that thing, but their task is only limited for not only for statistical analysis. R is used for building a web application also. Like I'll show you maybe just an application. I'll show you just a second. So this is a web application I have developed using R. Okay,
Okay.
maybe yeah. So it's for IIT Delhi. We have developed this. So it's not only that R is for statistical analysis or something like that.
Show the thumbnail. Okay.
Okay. So it depends on for what purpose we are using R. R is again programming language, and Python is also programming language. R is generally used for most of the time a data science thing and statistical analysis, but Python is more done for building up the web application. Like one of the popular framework for Python is Django, where you can develop a website. Like we have this Drupal is there, then Joomla is there, WordPress is there for website. So likewise, we have that things there.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Any questions from any participant? Okay, we'll move forward. Now I will would request Assistant Professor Padma ma'am to give the vote of thanks.
Good evening to all of you. Respected dignitaries, esteemed speakers, and faculty members, and dear participant. I, Assistant Professor Padma Patil, Library Committee member. It gives me immense pleasure to deliver a vote of thanks on behalf of the Library Committee and IQAC cell for a second day of our faculty development program. First and foremost, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to our distinguished speaker, Dr. Mohit sir, whose expertise and inspiring talk on the ITC application in libraries, open science, open source, softwares, challenges in chatbot intent, and so on. I also wish to acknowledge to active participation to all attendees. Thanks to our management and esteemed principal Dr. Bhavika Karkera madam, to motivate and encourage to organize such a successful and programs. Finally, let us not forget our valuable contribution technical team. Thanks to all once again for making a second day of this faculty development program a memorable and successful experience. Have a great evening. Thank you so much, sir. I learned many more things. Thank you, sir. And thank you all participants. All participants kindly fill the second day of feedback, feedback form, which is a link shared in the chat box. Ruta ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Participant, kindly fill the feedback form for the second day. The link is shared in the chat box. Thank you so
I
much,
just
Mohit
I
sir.
just shared my email ID in the chat. If anybody of you have any doubt related to that, you can contact
Yes,
me
sir. Yes,
anytime. Okay.
yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Hello.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yes.
Yes.
Ma'am, I want to give one suggestion regarding the link. You're sharing the links in a Gmail on the mail. So can you please share the link for in a WhatsApp? Because sometimes WhatsApp and we can't access the email, and we're
Yes,
attending
ma'am.
the
Sure,
PDF
sure.
from FDP from
Yes.
the mobile. So that's why please do that one.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We will.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yes. So much participants for attending the second day session. We will meet tomorrow for the third day at 4 p.m.
Thank you.